Hello, so did you know that since because I am from a Peruvian background, that I technically am Native American? So this is going to be a speech about my cultural background like all of you have done. So my Peruvian history, which is basically my cultural background, can break down into three major aspects: the Incans, the food, and the country itself. And if you want to the reason why you should listen to me, um if you want to get to know me better, I take great pride in my cultural background. So this is one of the greatest ways to actually get to know me better. And here you go. So a little bit about the history of Incans and how they were. Essentially, the Incans came to be because a bunch of native tribes settled in the Cusco in the mountains, and in this mountain, they were sheltered from most of the elements of other tribes coming to get them. So they didn't aggressively expand. They just slowly got bigger as more people joined in. And this was until this great Cusco fell under attack when they were discovered. And they were when this happened, there was this great general called Yupan who led this heroic and successful defense of the history. He takes control of the empire because he's loved so much since he defended the capital of the Incan Empire. And then he starts a period of rapid expansion. He starts with all this newfound power. He starts expanding the Incans to multiple different countries, taking other tribes with them, and he starts expanding like crazy. And this is where Incan Empire starts building. They start build like in the Machu Picchu monuments. They start building and establishing canals, rivers, all those important areas. And I'm actually going to show you the Incan Empire. The This is Machu Picchu, and yeah, so he leads this grand expansion period, and this continues on for like two other generations. His son ends up expanding into Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina, those modern countries. He starts expanding into those areas, and then his son actually starts expanding into Brazil and starts actually challenging other empires before the Spaniards come. And when the Spaniards come, the rest is history, and we don't talk about that. So it's just really more Spaniard history and not Incan history anymore. But the Incan foundation was always kept in Peru, and we've always taken pride in the Incan background, expanding um all the cultures and stuff that come from the Incans back then. So that's just a little bit of history about the Incans, and that's part of the major stuff about Peru. Now, the next part is actually going to be the food. The food is very critical because it kind of defines also who we are. See, Peruvians tend to grow their own food, grow their own stuff, and what we do is we present it to the outside people of the world. We usually sell our own food after we grow it. It's a very farm-based economy. So here's a perfect quote that I'd like to describe Peru. You will find at Mistura the whole of Peru represented in folk dances, the better street food, and unique products from artisans. So street food, unique products, and a bunch of farmers smiling at their fruit of their labor. And it's so emotional and so amazing that even the toughest people will feel emotional at Mistura. Mistura is an actual um, food festival, and I've never been to it myself, but I've seen videos, and it is pretty amazing. There's just a bunch of it's really happy. There's a bunch of dances. It's it's revolved around people making dishes on the spot and then giving it to other people, and it's really good stuff. And if you were to go there, you will definitely feel a heart Peruvian pride. We have stuff like cuy, alpaca, stuff like that. Stuff that you'll never find anywhere else in the world unless you go specifically to Peru. So, I'm going to show you some of my favorite dishes from Peru. Let me show you right here, if I can find them. There you go. So, stuff like lomo saltado, which is rice, french fries, beef, onions, stuff like that. Really good dish. There is arroz chaufa, which is it can be made with really any meat. This Chinese rice with soy sauce, scallions, egg, all scrambled into one. It is a really good dish, and those are two of my personal favorite dishes. They're amazing. And that's just another, we take a lot of pride in our food. um Peruvian food is unique, and you really won't find it anywhere else. Those dishes that I showed you were the more popular ones, but there's more niche ones that you can find with guinea pig and alpaca and stuff like that. The last major part of Peru is its culture, its culture, its country itself. So right now, give me 1 second. Peruvian's population's at 32 million, so it's a relatively okay size. It's not like terribly big, but it's not terribly small either. It has an influence, and it's definitely there. And it's a lot of the culture revolves around religion and pride. We take a lot of our religion and pride from the Incan history and mixing with our Spaniard religion. So like we have our own dedicated Incan flags and Incan different colors, while believing in Catholics and stuff like that. And we are very religious and very conservative. We love religion, and we love like sticking onto it and holding on to it. Give me 1 second. And it's grown over time. Like I think like 10 years ago, it was 20 it was like 25 million. So it's growing pretty rapidly, honestly, and we're having an influence on the world. Um, the proving colors are all the colors of the rainbow plus white and the light blue, which basically explains the sky and the sun. So that's where that comes from. And Peru is also very haggled based, so you can go to like any, if you, it's a bit different if you're like from the Americas, because they'll notice that you have more wealth. But if you want a Peruvian or look like Hispanic and try to, you can actually go haggle for different products of basically anything in Peru. It's really unique, and honestly it's kind of nice. um Give me 1 second. And here's a quote from one of my favorite chefs in the world, Nobu Matsuichi. They're a very famous Japanese chef. Have you ever been to Mexico City and haggled with the locals over souvenirs? In Peru, you'd have to negotiate like that to get the freshest fish at the market, stuff like that. That's like only a small preview of Peru and what it brings. And so right now, 21.5% of Peru is in poverty. So it's not a rich country despite it again expanding so much. But it's been in poverty, the rate of poverty due to like industrialization has been declining over time in very in various ways. And that's really about it. That's those are the three major aspects of Peru in general. And it's a very brief history and understanding. If you really want to understand Peru, you'd have to do your own research and also go there yourself. Going there yourself is probably like experience like no other. It's very, very unique. You would not forget it. I went there and it's amazing. And one more thing. And now you have a better understanding of where I come from. And hopefully you can see where my pride comes from, why I appreciate Peruvian culture so much, and why I have, like, if you were to talk to me about it, it'll definitely help a lot with you getting to know me. Thank you for watching.